Looks like we were having some network connection issues. I don't know if this is going to be any better. If we're continuing to have audio problems and stuff, I'm just going to have to cancel the stream today because this is the best I can do. That being said, let me do my disclaimer for the third time. Nothing is intended to be health advice. Anything I say that is related to health is simply my own opinion or experience. Nor is anything intended to be financial advice. Anything that I mention regarding financial advice is simply my own opinion or experience and not in any way intended to be something anyone else should do or try. Aside from that, anything that I say that may be illegal is not an admission of guilt. It's simply just added for entertainment purposes, and basically don't try anything that I try at home, unless it's something that you just feel like you'd be trying anyways. Looks like we got some people in the room. It actually seems like we might possibly recover from our little problems with the connection. How is my audio, you guys? Audio, video, lag check, everything good? I guess I should let the Telegram people know that we're trying one more time. Let's see, let them know real quick. You guys, my Telegram channel is Bruce Venture Live. I'm also on my phone right now. My fasting was not as good this last time. I did do 2 days separated by a day, 24 hours with a 1 day in between. But I have not been fasting in the last few days or whatever. Did have to just spend a few days in the hospital with my father. Hopefully that's gonna work out and get better eventually, but it was unexpected, and I also changed all my plans regarding traveling, so I am kind of on a new plan / no plan thing. So it's been some rough days, to be honest, this last week. My father's condition is not great, but they were going to do a surgery that they're now not going to do, which I didn't think was probably a good thing. So they're going to try something else. So it's slightly improved the situation in that regard. But feel free to send out your prayers if you guys are feeling it, because I guess nothing's really stronger than that, right? But yeah, I woke up feeling pretty good today. I managed to put on like a good amount of weight in the last week. I think too. So that was good. I'm gonna once again start preparing for my next session of fasting as always. Yeah, I'm headed to a completely different location now than expected, or a completely different direction even than I was originally intending to go. It's kind of just a shot in the dark. I don't really I have no clue what to expect about that, but it'll definitely make for an interesting chapter of the life story. So I'm basically just operating off of that. I already had quite a lot of experiences going south, so I am going to try a new direction in a new area that I've never seen before, and I'm still trying to make my way out east, but I've actually decided instead of going east to get there, I might actually just go west to get there, which is interesting for the flat earthers and stuff. But yeah. Anyways, how's everyone else doing? Do you guys have any questions? We had a good question earlier about circumcision. I don't know if I should restate that or not, but we did lose our first question of the day to connection issues. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's interested in going down that whole thing, but if you guys have any other questions, I'm down for whatever. Looks like I slightly damaged this stream when I got the first couple rounds of disconnects. I'm gonna fix my hair as well. We're back. Good afternoon, everyone that just got here. Elizabeth and Melissa. What's up? My Catholic friend. Sam's doing good, but he has a new chew toy that squeaks, and so he got disqualified from the stream because he didn't want to give up his squeaker. So if Sam was here, we'd just be hearing squeak squeak. So he's outside enjoying his squeaking toy and his Christmas sweater that he's wearing. Oh yeah, it's been a while since I had some Viking style braids, Melissa, brains. That's funny. Good afternoon, Rihanna. Welcome, welcome. So, what do you guys want to talk about on this delayed stream? It's been a while. I think someone just commented that I was getting bad audio again. Anyways, I don't know what to do about that, you guys. I'm trying. I'm as close to the Wi-Fi as I can get right now. Is my audio okay? Life's good. I mean, it's a interesting time. You know, I guess I'm just practicing what I preach. You know, not to say that I haven't been doing things like this for a while, but this is one of the more extreme moves that I've ever done in my life to just, you know, just say, oh, you know, forget what I've been doing for the last, I guess, 14 years and just, I'm gonna figure something new out. I have no clue what I'm doing, you guys. But I am going to a new area. My plan right now revolves almost 100% around nature. Like I'm just going like into the wild status. So I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Into the Wild, but we're hoping for a better outcome. That being said, I feel like the only way for me to progress, like I mean, we've talked a lot about spirituality and stuff recently on here, and you know, that's still my main focus right now. And, you know, I'm not a person that necessarily believes I'm going to find my answers in somebody else's experience or in a book or you know, maybe, you know, I would like to find a guru someday to teach me some things, but besides that, I don't really think that I'm going to find answers from without. I think all the answers are going to come from within, and so I'm trying to um, put all my energy into what I think is going to develop my connection um, in the strongest way. Um, and I'm just going to hope that the answers come to me from where all my other answers have came to me recently. And I don't know, I just don't see myself being able to accomplish like a greater connection than what I've already experienced, unless I'm able to pretty much like burn everything that was me prior to that. You know, so that's kind of what I'm doing. Anyways, yeah, I'm not allowed to go to Canada, Melissa, but I'm going to be pretty close to Canada soon. I actually am headed, I'm going to check out a couple spots here in the States. I'm going to try to reconnect with nature and all that stuff for a little while. I've also been thinking about doing, like, focusing on writing a lot, you guys. I don't know. I'm actually kind of interested to hear, does anyone, like, actually, like, use digital books? Is that, like, a thing? Do a lot of people actually use it? Because it seems, like, pretty feasible for me. Like, I feel like I could, like, be putting out a steady stream. And so, I've always, you know, obviously I'm sure I've talked about this, that I've been living my life to be like a story. You know, that's kind of been my way of operation for a long time. I've not been living my life and by any other normal metric, other than what would be the most interesting thing for the story. That's like how I've been making all my decisions for the last, you know, 15 years or so. But that being said, you know, I have this like great, grand, epic, you know, compilation of life that I plan on putting out someday in the, you know, future. I'm still in the middle of living it, but I was thinking it doesn't necessarily mean that I couldn't do short works and thought pieces along the way. In fact, I think it would be quite cool. And I was even thinking about maybe doing like some journaling and maybe just do like once a month down, you know, take the journal, compress it down into a action-packed little tidbit on Apple Books or Amazon Books or whatever books, you know, and see if I can make my existence off of that for a little while. Like an online diary, yes. But just with like, you know, like I wouldn't necessarily do it each day. I mean, I would write it down each day for myself, but then publish once a month. So it'd be like, you know, like at the 1st of February, for example, I could, you know, publish my January. What do you think? Oh yeah, we're right next to the Wi-Fi now. I had to hijack this room so, where I'm at so that I could get a better connection, you guys. It looks like we got everyone back. So we're back to our peak of when I very first logged in with the connection issues. So welcome everyone back. Oh, Melissa said, okay, Melissa's got some good ideas here to manifest myself into Canada. You know, if they, I'll tell you what, if they ever get rid of Trudeau, I will happily manifest myself into Canada. But um, it, I don't know if I would probably come before that. But I think that's a good idea. I could probably do it. I would feel better about my chances if there was a regime change, though. No, I'm still coming to Asia, Noi. I'm just not like my path there has changed, but in fact, it actually might be a faster path that I found. So I'm on the fence about laying out my exact journey because I think it might be more fun to see it be a surprise, and also too, since I changed my mind so much, um, you know, it would stop me from continuing to say things that end up being inaccurate. But as of right now, I've more or less thinking. So my original, I'll just go ahead and share it since we got no other questions going on. So my original plan to get to Asia was this, a very complicated plan, but it was going to involve a lot of seeing things and ease of travel for Sam, which was a big focus of the Sam thing. So basically, I did the GoFundMe. I was hoping maybe that would bring something in to ease Sam's journey a little bit along the way. And in the meantime, my plan was to first go down to Mexico, and then eventually to come back, cross the United States, ship my vehicle to Europe, fly to Europe, drive all the way across Europe, and then store the vehicle, fly to probably Qatar or something, and then to India from there. So it was going to be a really long trip anyways, but my new plan is, instead of doing all that crazy stuff, I've already been through Latin America a lot. Not to say that I don't want to go back, but for now, I could try some new things, do some stuff in the United States for a little while, and then when the time is right, go to Hawaii, right? Ship the vehicle to Hawaii. Then my vehicle will actually be in the closest place to where I'm going to be in the United States, the farthest westward point in the United States. And then I would be able to hop from Hawaii to, say, Tokyo as my entrance to Asia. And that is actually within Sam's possibility of travel as well, because it's only like 8 hours from Hawaii to Tokyo. So I could actually, so instead of going all the way east to get east, I'm just going to make a double hop from the US to Hawaii. That's about 8 hours. Sam can survive that. And there's another 8 hours to Tokyo. We're good. So that's my new plan. But yeah, I would love any recommendations. There's all kinds of DMs. Messages are open. Everything's open. So as far as in the meantime, if anyone has any recommendations, plus also too, instead of going, the other change to the plan is that instead of going directly to India, since I will have to enter through Tokyo, I will do that whole trip backwards as well. So I'll check out, the Philippines and Indonesia and Southeast Asia, and then end in India. And which makes more sense also too, since I think that will probably be the longer portion of the trip. Anyways, let me go back. Sorry, I might have missed some of the chat. Oh yeah, Sorab's here today. Got to know you have a YouTube channel, so also retired. Love from India. Well, that's quite on point. We were just talking about your region, but yes, I'm retired. I'm still going to release my archives. Um, I don't um, uh, not to say that I'm not trying to make some kind of hard stance against the industry just because you know I know it's not a positive experience for everybody, and that some people allow it to be a negative thing for them. But for me personally, in my life and the way that it affected me and my experiences and stuff, is I can't personally say that it was a negative experience for me. So I'm not, for that reason, ashamed of what I did or anything like that. And, especially the work that I did for myself, that's the content that I actually own rights to and, collaborated with people on and stuff like that. Like all the stuff that I've stockpiled for the last 14 years. That's a lot of it's still unreleased. Like those were the scenes that were actually even like the people that I was most like close to as friends and stuff too. Most of them during the times when I was shooting most of that. Um, so I'm still gonna release that stuff. Um, I'm not just gonna trash it, but I don't want to sacrifice the continuation of my story and my progression spiritually and so on and so forth. For the sake of living in LA so that I can, capitalize on that industry. If whatever I've done in my past, which I was feeling good emotions at the time when I was doing, happens to come back and is a way that can ease my life on my journey, I don't see anything personally wrong with that. So my fan page remains open. You guys can go find that on my Twitter. Oh, looks like we had a connection issue. You guys, are we good? I was like, let's see if it survives. I might have got semi-censored on that. I don't know. It might be like might be getting pushed through the AI detection center just got notified to make sure I'm not talking about anything I'm not supposed to talk about. But I think we're good because I think I explained that in quite detail. I hope that we're not lagging again now. Is there anything else you guys would like to talk about? What do you guys think about all these ideas? Like, I think that the monthly journal entry is probably where I feel the most excitement, though, for myself personally. As much as I love doing these streams and stuff, and I'll definitely continue to do these, I don't know how good my connection is going to be where I'm going. I'm going to be in a very, I'm headed out into nature. So at some point, maybe if we're able to somehow monetize YouTube or anything at all, I guess, since I haven't really figured out the whole financial aspect of these decisions yet. But if we do figure something out, I will definitely include, like, I'll get Starlink or something so that we can continue streaming. But in the meantime, in the case that we're not able to stream as much as I would like to due to the connection not being available, possibly, I don't know, it could be there. 5G is quite good in the States, some places, so we can see. But in that case, I'm just trying to come up with some ideas that could create a content release in the meantime, and all that. And also, what do you guys think about the? I also need some recommendation. I got to know the spots in like what are the best places to check out in Asia, like between Tokyo and India. I gotta come up with my path in between. So I would love if anyone wants to send anything that they think should be on the list. I'll definitely check out Malaysia for sure. I want to check out. I would like to come to basically almost every country that it's safe to go to. You know. Yeah, and I'm gonna stay active in the Telegram also, Melanie. I may also start doing like if the another idea that I've had is whether it be through Telegram, and for anyone watching this on the recording later, the Telegram group is Bruce Venture Live on Telegram. There's a link in the bio. Maybe doing an audio format on Telegram, or like a hybrid, like just without video, because audio tends to require a little less connection than video, or maybe even like a Twitter Spaces. I've not really done much on Twitter with all this because it's mainly just well, I wouldn't say mainly, but it seems to be like more prominent with the industry kind of fans on my Twitter page for obvious reasons. And for that reason, I don't know, we definitely get it's a harsher bunch of people on Twitter. So I'm a little bit weird about trying the Twitter Spaces. I mean, it's definitely where I have the most followers and stuff, so maybe it could be good, but I don't want to like just talk about industry stuff all the time, and I know it'll just be like a barrage of that. So, or I shouldn't say that I know, but I predict a barrage of that. So maybe I'll just do it on Telegram also. What about Rumble? It's actually, I'm interested that you bring that up. I've been really interested in Rumble, just because it seems like there's a lot of controversial people on there that talking about controversial things, and not to say that I want to talk about controversial things, but it does give me comfort to know that the company is committed to free speech and stuff like that. So I don't know, that might be a thing also, but it's just that it would be similar to YouTube and everything else, video oriented, in the sense that I think it would require a heavier connection thing. Now maybe it does have an audio version there. I don't really know. Yeah, I'm good, Rex. What's up? You good, bro? You're like me, so many ideas. Yeah, the ideas thing is a lot. But I'm just trying to figure out how to like keep it going from like remote. I think but I definitely think that this path is gonna get us where we're trying to go faster. The more stuff that I have to cross through. Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. Do I look like I'm crying? No, I'm sad. No, I'm not crying. I don't remember what I was saying though, because I'm like, do I look like I'm crying? No, I think it's just a pimple, bro. No, it's literally a pimple that looks like a tear. I'm sadly still sometimes get blemishes, so it's nothing to cry about though. The Celestine Prophecy. I have not read the Celestine Prophecy. You're welcome to post it into the chat. We'd all like to read it. Possibly. We don't. I mean, I'm not to say that I'm here to speak for anyone else, but I'd like to read it, and possibly it'd be the easiest way to do it if you posted it in the chat. Should it be condensed enough to do so? Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's too big for the chat, but yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how to stay connected, you guys. But I'm about to go into the nature zone. I will, on the bright side, for the people that actually care about that kind of stuff, I'll probably do a little bit of photography, not as an actual important thing, but just based upon the fact that I'm going to be in a scenic location soon. I will definitely take advantage of that. Welcome, Anna. How are you doing? Good to see you again. We were just discussing our upcoming plans on how I'm going to try to stay connected with you guys, even though we're about to go off into the great outdoors, and we don't know exactly how our connection is going to be, but it may be good. I might find a 5G tower, just go soak up the radiation and stream it up. What's up, Jen? Welcome, welcome. Looks like we got actually a good little boost of people just showed up. Oh, Melanie, slam dunk. I'm so glad you showed up. You've been such a really good participant. Yes, I do want to do that, actually. So Melanie says maybe we can try to connect telepathically. And that is actually something I 100% do want to do. And I've actually been, haven't got to test it so much yet, but I have been coming up with ways that we could try to do that. I think that we should have like a group meditation here on YouTube, and we should try to sync up and see if we can. I feel like once we are able to connect once, we'll always have we'll know the number, so to speak, to dial out. And I think that I've come up with some ways that we may be able to possibly try to do that today. Or not today, but in streams coming up. But it's going to be a really weird process. And so I'm going to, I will tell everyone ahead of time when we're going to do this, because it's going to be a really weird stream. And also we're all going to need like a location for that one where we can get weird and loud. Okay, because we're going to do some stuff with our voice as well in this process of trying to connect. So I'll give some warning ahead of time, but I have come up with a plan, and we will try to connect telepathically. And if that somehow has success, I think we'll be on to something that might change the world. Anyways, but Susan, welcome. Johan, welcome. So we were talking about my plans for this upcoming chapter of my life, which is taking a strange turn. It's not the overall plan that has changed. As I mentioned, I'm still trying to get to Asia. It's my main focus. But I'm trying to get there with the dog, and I'm not trying to make the dog too uncomfortable in the process. So in the meantime, before we're able to actually execute that part of the plan, I'm going to do some nature reconnection and we were just also mentioning the ways in which I was going to try to stay connected to you all through this process, which was going to be Telegram. I was talking about doing a little monthly journaling, or it would be daily journaling for me, but I would release it once a month or so. And also, um, yeah, just some travel photos and stuff like that. And I'm also looking for, we haven't had too many suggestions, but um, I am open to suggestions for travel, places to visit, um, that are spiritual places and or very natural scenic kind of places, either in the Western United States or um, Eastern Asia. And do I like weed? I actually do like weed. I have had a big struggle with it myself. It's something that did become an addiction for me, and I've put a lot of effort and an unfortunate amount of willpower into breaking that addiction. That being said, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. I think that it's a very interesting tool, um, and I do think it's somewhat of an ambassador to human life from the plant kingdom of sorts. Um, but I'm not 100% convinced that smoking is the right way to use it, and I for sure think that there's a limit to how much it should be used before it becomes a negative entity in someone's life. But in moderation, in the right situations, I think it's a beautiful thing. Which Georgia is that, Jen? There's Georgia the country or Georgia the state? Because the Georgia the state is quite far. Um, it's not probably in. I don't know if that would still be considered Western United States. But the Georgia the country is even farther than that. So either way, I would still like to know. I'm interested. I like them both. So, um, what are we doing in a different place, Noi? Sorry, I was talking too long, so I'm not sure. You meant the country. Oh, this is. I didn't realize that weed was legal in Georgia. That's so cool. That is actually really is interesting. I would never have predicted that. That's pretty cool. Huh. I like the food. I love those like dumplings that they make. Those are my favorite Georgian dish. I have some Georgian friends um, in Europe. Oh, the connect telepathically. Yes, I think it can be done um, from different locations. I think it would be it's probably easier if you are able to get in proximity to someone at least the first time. At least by whatever I keep in mind. This is all just conjecture. This is what I feel will work. I do believe it's possible, and I've had an experience that made me doubly believe that it's possible. But as far as doing it with intention and multiple people, I don't yet know. But I do want to find out, and I think that my plan basically revolves around some chanting and things like that, because I realize there's like a synchronicity, um, with vibration, right? So like I'm sure you guys have seen like some of the experiments, where you take like for example two tuning forks or should I say 3 tuning forks, 2 that are tuned to the same frequency and another one that's not. And you can take the 2 that are different frequencies and bang either one, and it's just that one vibrates. But if you take the 2 tuning forks that are tuned to the same frequency and you bang one, the other one starts vibrating also. You see what I'm saying? And this works at like a great distance. So I think that basically we'll have to try to match each other's vibrations, both mentally and audibly at the same time. And if we can somehow manage to try to do that, you know what I mean? Like I'll break out the high def mic. I'll make sure I'm wired super good to the internet. We're going to try to like sync up our voices and also sync up our minds and our vibrations and our emotions. Most importantly, our emotions simultaneously. And I hope, my theory is that by doing this, that we will achieve some type of a connection, possibly mentally. And, you know, if we're able to send even the small, you know, just a little something, if we're able to just send a little something, we can grow that into something that could be really, really awesome. Anyways, it'll be fun, whether it works or it doesn't, it'll be fun. I have no reason to believe that it couldn't be successful. And, you know, we can just, it can be our first experiment. We'll just roll from there. And, you know, and I think and I also think that it's something that could be more successful the more people that participate. So, so yeah, so I'm definitely going to, I'll set a date and we'll set a clear intention for when we're going to try that. And I will make sure that I have the right equipment and everything also to make sure that we're at like ultra low latency. We may, you know, because I think that that's going to be a big part of it. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And maybe someday in the future, you guys, I've also, you know, I've released a lot of my personal like fear and stuff since semi-recent months. And for that reason, at some point, I'll eventually probably start doing like meet and greets in different places and stuff too. So maybe there'll be something like that. Anyways, that's the whole thing. Anyways, one second. We got some new people in the room. Welcome, Madhur Kumar, Edgar Martin, and the Unnoticed. Is he high? I'm not really high, no. But not to say that I wouldn't be high. I could be high if I wanted to. Nobody can tell me not to. But welcome back. You just did a tea ceremony and a meditation. Well, that sounds very awesome. What is a tea ceremony, by the way? I'm honestly, as much as I am super interested and consider myself a spiritual person, I'm not super educated on spiritual practices myself. It's all a pretty new thing for me. But I would love to know about that. I'm really interested in learning more. And welcome Preeti Mahadev and Zeal Dave, welcome. Chill, bro. Oh, man. See, I said it already and you spammed it, so now I'm gonna block you, bro. Hey. Anyways, it's actually been a decent amount of subscribers this time, or people. Is it a bird? I don't know what that is. I've been wondering what that is too. It might be a bird. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Creepy. Yeah, I guess that must be a bird or a critter or some sort. Something's living in the walls. Any other questions, you guys? You found your people in this live? Oh yeah, we've been talking a lot about India lately because I'm trying to actually relocate to India. So, how long ago did I start the stream? The stream is 45 minutes old. It was supposed to start at 11, but we were originally having like some connection issues. So I had to relocate. First, I had to switch devices because my mic on my other device wasn't working. Then we were having connection issues, so I had to relocate next to the Wi-Fi. So um, we're making it work. This is a pretty bootleg stream, to be honest, because I'm just on my little phone. But we made it work. We got it happen. We got 12 people here, which is pretty good for YouTube for us. And yeah, we clarified the plan. So if the universe wants to assist, it knows what the intentions are. And yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. So am I high or not? No, I'm not high right now, but I have smoked a lot of weed in my life. Do I really seem high, you guys? I mean, it would be in different ways too. Yeah, I mean, okay, I already answered. Never mind. But yeah, rarely nowadays, Noi. I actually am probably not that interested in smoking it anymore, but I think I would like to eat some of it. I think that that's probably a better way to go about it. Um, but the other thing is the reason why I quit smoking is um, it's less about anything like that I feel that it's bad or anything like that, but it's more that I feel that it's a tool that can be used in certain situations, but that tool does not work um, if you do it regularly. So, for me personally, I think that it's more like you gotta, keep the blade sharp. You need your brain to be functioning, at its highest power as much of the time as possible, right? So if you're like smoking all the time regularly, um, it's gonna like dull your senses and the way that your brain functions because you're gonna end up building up too much in your system, right? Because it's a fat soluble substance, right? So it builds up. So that's what you don't want. This is all just my opinion, you guys, by the way. It's not in any way health advice, nor am I suggesting anyone should use cannabis. But in my own personal opinion, it's not a bad thing. It's just a bad thing to let it build up in your system. Um, which it does rapidly. Um, so the human body can naturally produce, cannabinoids. That's why we have cannabis receptors, and that's why cannabis does work on people. It creates an artificial version of something that you can experience naturally. And one of the ways that you experience that naturally is through meditation. Like sometimes I actually do meditate and am able to induce like a state in myself that can persist after my meditation where I'm having the same visual and mental effects as smoking. I know for sure. Now, whether or not, I don't think that that's something that you can actually experience though, or that it's very easy probably to experience, because the levels that you create in your blood by ingesting it externally from a plant that produces a higher amount of it than what we produce personally, it dulls your receptors, right? So if you want to be able to have this experience and use these chemicals in a positive way for your body, you got to keep your sensitivity low. You know what I'm saying? And it's also in the same way that if you want to actually have a major experience with cannabis or whatever, not having a tolerance is the only way to do that. If you're smoking every day, then you won't get the same effect out of it. So that's just my own opinion. I don't think that it's something that is, I don't necessarily think it's something that dulls the senses if you just do it occasionally. I think it's something that dulls the senses if you do it every day. And therefore, I only view it bad in the sense of using it in a way that makes you duller. I don't view it as bad in using it as a way as what nature and the universe probably intended, and that's everything else that I just aforementioned. And back to the chat. What's up, Anna? Have you ever participated in the ayahuasca ceremony? I have not, but I have similar views on that. I would like to try it. I do believe that our brains also produce DMT, and that's actually a big part of meditation, spirituality as well, is that when you're able to produce DMT in your own brain, and I'm talking like during your life, not just at birth or at death, that's when you're able to like access, that's the scientific, more chemical version of having like a major state or major meditative breakthrough where you're connecting with your higher self and stuff. It's I think that chemically and physically what's going on in your body when you're having that spiritual experience is a production of DMT. So I think that I don't see any reason why ingesting it artificially would be an artificial connection. I still think it would be a connection with other entities, other worlds, or whatever, not simply just a reaction to a drug. So I think that's the way, but I would be concerned personally myself about negatively affecting my receptors for this chemical, because I wouldn't want to dull my receptors so that when I am producing DMT naturally, that it's having its full effect on my body and my brain and so on and so forth. But not to say that that's necessarily something that would happen, because like, for example, people that use cannabis for a long time, they quit and their receptors they've built up more receptors from being addicted for a long time. So it actually can enhance their receptivity as long as they get off of it later. So I'm not saying that necessarily it would work out like that. Maybe it's actually something that would benefit somebody, but I don't personally know, and I would like to have that knowledge and do that research before trying it myself, just because what the risk on the table, if it would be to the former, not the latter, is just too great for me. Now back to the unnoticed. I was asking if you recently smoked or not because you have many questions for you and wanted to see your full functional answers. Well, if you're saying recently, I would say that maybe you could hold back those questions. However, I'm not presently high. So it depends on how much how much time you require between seeking those answers. Melanie, I finally found a calendar. You can see which days of the month moon is in your sign. Oh, wow. Please send that to me, Melanie. I actually looked for that as well, and I was not successful in that. Like, I could not find anything about that. I looked at all kinds of calculators and whatever different things that I could find. It's a hard to it's a hard to get piece of information. So thank you so much for that. Anything else, you guys? We're starting. We lost a little bit of the chat, so I don't know. Maybe we're slowing down now. But we made it an hour. We got 4 minutes to go. Oh yeah, no, you should probably hold on to that. I've definitely done it during that span, the unnoticed, sadly. But I don't know that it's necessarily something that should have a negative impact on my whatchamacallit, opinion. But then again, if I can't recall the word opinion without thinking about it for a second, maybe I'm wrong about that. So I'll let you make the call. Do I believe in the zodiac sign? In some sense, I do. I don't actually know how accurate it is, you know, on a day-to-day basis, but I definitely resonate with some things there, and I've noticed some correlation with other people, and I do believe that there's something to that. I'm definitely not the person that knows very much about it. What me and Melanie were talking about was based upon that video. I think that it was in the chat, but I can repost it. There's been doing some research regarding like some of the experiences that I've had, and it's been regarding this substance, this amrita or CHRIStOS, some people call it, and trying to figure out if they're, according to some people, that this flows once a month, and that there's supposed to be a certain time in which you need to abstain, and basically practice semen retention and other things to get the most out of it, and to be meditating like really heavily during these times, in order to not lose the substance. And some people say that it flows during a certain time of the month, depending on your zodiac sign. So I have documented the days which I had the most like profound spiritual experiences, and I'm trying to see if there is indeed a correlation between those days and when my personal horoscope, if it was there, or if there is even some type of rhythm to it at all, regarding that and my own personal experiences, so that I can better understand the biological rhythm of spirituality, and to hone my own personal practices into something that orbits that information. Yeah, I'm like a quintuple Scorpio. I was actually looking at my chart recently, and I have Scorpio 5 times. in my chart. So it's like, yeah, I can't deny that I feel it, but I do also. I mean, it's one of those things, you know. I think that the early stages of Scorpio kind of get a bad rap, and that's what most people think of when they think of Scorpio. But I think that, you know, as you mature, it can take on a much lighter, you know. Ascendant, is that is that the same as the rising? Because it would be for me. I know that I'm a Sagittarius rising, but I'm a Scorpio sun and Scorpio moon, I think. I have to double check on that. Thank you for coming, Sorav. Have a good night. What about sports? Do I often exercise? Not not in a way that, not often compared to in the past of when I would have said often, but I do a lot of like mobility exercises and stuff, mainly just trying to maintain my flexibility and stuff right now. But you know, I was also been practicing a lot of fasting lately. I'm actually still kind of I'm still dabbling with that, and it doesn't really it's hard for me to consume enough calories to work out in the ways that I used to work out. Not to say that it's all for the bad, because I do feel like a certain amount of strength and like muscle quality increase just from the fasting alone. So I don't know that maybe I'm not exercising as much as I have in the past, but I feel that the exercise I am doing is more efficient and getting more results per calorie spent than times in the past, if that makes sense. You're starting the fast this week. I will probably be with you then. We don't necessarily have to do it at the same times, but I will definitely let you guys know when I'm back in my fasted state. I got a bit more driving to do coming up, and I'm in a situation right now that's not conducive to fasting, so I'm actually in the process of packing on as much weight as possible. Since my last fast, I've been basically just trying to eat as absolutely much calories as possible, and I'm starting to get a little bit of weight back because I want to do another really, really serious fast, and I just know that my body will not. I would be going too far if I would complete the fast that I want to do at the weight level that I was at when I finished my last one. So, and also I was just having trouble getting past the 2-day mark, because on this last one, without having like, you know, noticeable strength loss and stuff. So I'm focusing on putting on some weight so that I have something to lose. How long are my fasts? My longest one so far has been 52 hours, but a very strict fast, like no food, no water, not even showering, not brushing teeth, like zero anything for 52 hours is my longest. Monday and Thursday every week until Ramadan. I think that's great. Yeah, definitely do that. That's awesome. That'll have a major effect for sure. I'm still targeting my goal of 96 hours is my goal. It's a spiritual goal. I noticed it's hard for me to explain specifically, but you know, the main thing that has kept me motivated for the fasting has been that when I'm fasted, after about the 30-hour point, I find that it's very, very easy for me to meditate, like much, much, much easier. Like normally with my meditations, I am very much at the whims of, I don't know, I just listen to like my inner body, and if I feel that I'm in a calm mood or if I feel that I'm in an energetic state, I usually try to meditate based upon that feeling, and I try to enhance the feeling that I'm already naturally having. And what that normally does is that I've produced a lot of really interesting states in myself, you know, mentally, and even physically. But I don't have that much control over them. Um, I kind of am just sticking my hand into the meditative state cookie bag and coming up with whatever I get. But I find that when I'm heavily fasted, I have very acute control of my mind and the state that I can put myself in. And um, during one of my most intense experiences, I received some information that, you know, if I could achieve a longer duration, that I would be somehow rewarded spiritually in some way that I don't want to elaborate on. But I believe what I heard, and I am dedicated to achieving that goal. So in the meantime, I've been trying to just work myself up to it because it does get easier and easier. But it's part of the thing that has been motivating me to give up my career and stuff, and to do this first portion of this trip where I'm kind of going out into the wild, because you know, I find that it's not so much the physical discomfort or anything like that that stops me from going longer. It's the distractions and responsibilities that I have, that require me to not be like in this crazy state or trance or whatever that I go into at some point, um, because that's like a life consuming situation. You know, like when you're like that, when you're vibrating like that high, it's hard to like stay in contact with like things around you or responsibilities or like to do anything, like, to be honest. I mean, this is just my experience. um it's hard for me to do anything, so I'm trying to create a situation where I literally don't need to do anything. I have no responsibilities, um you know, and that I can dedicate to my spirituality and my practices, which I think everyone understands by now that fasting is like really one of my main focuses, like spiritually, like because it's one of the things that I've noticed the most like profound effect of, and I understand that, you know, um, sacrifice is like the key to going higher, you know. Anyways, one second, let me check the chat. Thought it was for physique or health benefits. I mean, I think there are health benefits also, but it's not my. I take that as like a bonus, you know. What specific mindfulness practice have I found to be the most effective in my daily life? By mindfulness, what do you mean by that? Like I mean, do you mean like tricks of behavior, or do you mean like actual like meditations? Do you do exercise during fast? It burns fat. Yeah, even some people still play football fasting. Yes, I think it's also important to listen to your body. It's about balance. Meditations. Okay. Well, so like I've talked about some of the most profound ones a lot that in past streams. But I can talk about some again. But again, I don't have a lot of control over all these. I kind of feel when I'm having something naturally, and I have a way of enhancing it. But I haven't, unless I'm very fasted again, I don't have a lot of control. But that being said, some of the things that I've done that I thought were interesting, there was one thing that I actually I never mentioned in the other videos, which I'll go ahead and say now. Like it was actually probably predates most of the other stuff that I talked about. But I had one experience one time where I became extremely flexible, and I'm not very super flexible. And at the time, I was actually very stiff and was just experimenting with like stretching and stuff to um, uh, try to fix that. And I ended up somehow meditating myself into like a situation where my muscles that were extremely tight, and in no way had I been doing any exercise or stretching recently, completely like absolutely flexible. Like I became like Gumby man. Like I could literally like stretch any way possible, like out of nowhere, with no warm up, no um, conditioning to it, and actually everything the opposite of that. Like totally just was wrecked, and out of nowhere I became completely flexible. Um, but the thing that I talked about most that made the big life changing experience for me was this. I was chanting on a drive, and I um, connected with this. It felt like the moon to me, and it came in with this like gold light into the back of my head. That was like in my mind's eye, I could see like this whole like gold mandala design. Really super 3D or whatever, and it like brought in like a tremendous amount of information into my brain. And also I was like, my whole body was like glowing gold. It was really interesting. And during that time when I did that, like I had unlocked some kind of thing where I was able to like zoom my eyes like really far into the distance. And then one time I actually was able to somewhat recreate the zoom, but on a small scale, like looking at something. I was looking at this flower, and I was able to like zoom in like a microscope kind of with my eyes of the flower. And prior to that, actually, I was on set one time doing a scene that I wasn't enjoying, and I decided to go calm my mind through like a meditation, right? And so I was able to like basically turn off all my senses and like take control of my hearing to where I was able to like change the frequency of my hearing to like project it out in like a radius around me, and I could like feel my hearing like passing through walls, and I could like hear people talking in other houses, and eventually I like pushed it miles away where I was like listening to cars on the freeway, like I was standing right next to it. Like it was really interesting. um I've not been able to do that again since then. um and There was another time when I was able to basically, it was probably the most intense of all the things, was I was able to, I don't know, open my heart chakra and my throat chakra in like a way that was like I was able to like expand my consciousness to the point that I became literally so big that I was looking down at the earth, and I was seeing everything that was happening like simultaneously. Like I could see through all the people of Earth's eyes, and I could see, it was just, I could see the whole planet physically, like um and just knew everything at once, and it just had this like intense feeling of like loving everything like so much. That was definitely the most profound experience of my life. And you know, like I said, I haven't had a lot of control over all this stuff. It's just been kind of somewhat random, but then me, you know, amplifying it when I feel it. But I would like to get more control over it, and fasting is the most effective thing that I've found, that's allowed me to take some control over these states. Oh, and I've also done a lot of like I'm able to raise my Kundalini like fairly on point too. Like I can do that. I have brought it all the way up to the point that I've like given myself like an orgasm mentally. Um, and that might have been a turning point for everything too, because that was actually a while ago. But I have a fairly good control of that. Would be the thing I have the most control over. Of is like I can kind of, if I have a few hours to meditate, I can definitely like raise my Kundalini to the point that I'll be in like a state of ecstasy or like joy, kind of. Um, so that would be like the area that I'm strongest in, but I don't know that it's necessarily something that's good to do all the time, because I could totally see myself just forgetting about life and just hanging out and being in ecstasy all day. And I don't know if that's necessarily like a, as enjoyable as that would be, I don't know if it would be the best path in life. How often do I meditate? It's sporadic, kind of. Sometimes I do it every day or multiple times a day, and sometimes I won't do it for a few days, or even sometimes a week. I might not do anything if I'm very distracted. So my practice has a lot of refinement to do. A lot, like I would like to practice every day, um, but it's just not been the way I've been doing it, and I have been having like major success with some states, um, in the sense of like achieving the state, but I have not been regular with it in the sense of doing it every day or having major control over what I'm doing. So for better or worse, that's where I'm at. I want to be really clear that I'm like learning, and I'm just like through these streams and everything, like I'm trying to like learn side by side with everybody else, you know. And um you know, I'm not an expert on any of this or trying to claim anything like that. I'm just trying to share what I've discovered and what has made me interested in this, like above all other things. Um, you know, because it's like I've been, sometimes I do another type of, I think it's a type of meditation. I don't know if other people would consider it, but I do also like a walking meditation where I can go really deep into my thoughts while I'm in motion. Um, and, I feel that like basically each chakra, so like this is like scientific. This is like my own hypothesis of everything, but I feel like each of these major nerve branches, the big nerve ganglions that are associated with the different chakras, they're like little brains. Like you have your major brain here. This is your big, your big brain. It's got a few different points that matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and then you got your thalamus, you got your heart, you got your whole, digestive system is, some people call it like your other brain also because it has so much nerves in it. There's also like, the thing that I'm most well known for down below. Many people say like, are you thinking with your big head or your little head? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot of, are you thinking with your heart or your head? Things like that. So each of these big bunches of nerves are like a small brain, right? They're like secondary brains. And like, for example, people say that, most of your serotonin is in your body is all produced in your digestive tract. It's not actually produced in your brain, right? So it's my theory that each one of these different, nerve centers actually have like secret powers, and these secret powers come in the form of different chemicals that these different areas can produce, and so for me, like meditation is about getting to know my body enough that I can control the output of these different super chemicals or these different neurotransmitters that are originating in each of these different, nerve ganglias or chakras. So, like for example, like I've definitely given myself an orgasm when I wasn't having any physical pleasure. It's something I've mastered doing at work. That's me literally, um, forcing that nerve center to release chemicals that made my body have that reaction, you know? But you can do this with every nerve center, you know what I mean? You can do your stomach chakra, you can make yourself into really happy with tons of serotonin, if you can, I don't know what the one is that comes from your heart that makes you connect with everything super big, but it's powerful, there's your thymus is a gland. All it does is produce things. Your pituitary is a gland. All it does is produce chemicals. Um, your thyroid or your thalamus, your thyroid is a gland. It's producing chemicals. Your thalamus is a gland. It's producing chemicals. So it's all about, you know, getting to know your body in the same way that you're able to work your hands, or like some people, for example, can do amazing things with their hands, or in sports and stuff, play the piano or instruments, or people that can fucking run super fast, or jump super high. Like, this is people that have, people that are really good at what I do, for example. This is you getting to know your physical body in like a major way that's greater than what other people know their body, and that's why you're better at these certain different things. But like meditation, spirituality is the same as that, but it's learning control of your nervous system, and through control of your nervous system, you're able to produce things that have effects that are literally supernatural. You know what I mean? Like, think of the ones that we know very well. Like, okay, like we know that the body produces, serotonin, dopamine, and all that stuff that has major effects on your chemistry, right? But we also know that the body can produce estrogen and testosterone and things like that that can also have major fucking effects on your body. That people take steroids and get hella big, but it's also people just that produce natural testosterone more are going to be more muscular, right? You know, we know that we can produce eggs and semen. We can literally create another human being. You know, that's huge, right? But we can also produce endocannabinoid, or we can not endo, but we can also produce cannabinoids, and we can produce even so much something so amazing as DMT in our brains, and it's literally proven at this point that people are so good at meditation. Some people, they can do this on a whim. They can make themselves produce these chemicals, and I don't believe that it's literally just like a chemical reaction that you're just like tripping out on these chemicals. I think that, like, for example, like, you know, they say, you know, if you're, you know, your chakras all the way is open all the way to the top, that you're gonna be able to do anything. And it's like, well, that's literally, you know, like your thymus or your pituitary is producing producing DMT is the way I see it. And that's, you know, that is such a strong chemical that it makes the rest of your body smarter and able to access everything more specifically as well. But I also don't believe that you're just like tripping out. I think that this actually literally connects you with higher sources of information, and the universal consciousness and the Akashic record and all that, because like, I think there actually is something that's holding all that information. And I think that once you connect with it, it upgrades your DNA and downloads everything that's there into your DNA. And then once that information is stored in your DNA, it's just a matter of you accessing it all the time. That's why you're not, you know, that's why people become enlightened, and they might not be in like a total connected state where they're like, you know, seeing gold lights and, you know, downloading hyper amounts of information all the time, but yet they will still walk away from that with way more knowledge than they had. And it's because it's literally been copied into their DNA, you know. And I believe literally that your whole, like, your long-term memories and the things that are going to be like even your traumas and stuff like that are going to really like, that made the biggest impact on you as a person, is also recorded in your DNA. Like, that's why I think people have, a lot of people have, like, you know, short-term memory problems or this and that and the other, you know, but they still, like, for example, will remember like innate things, you know, when they have amnesia and stuff like that. And it's because those innate things that they still remember is in their DNA. It's not in their brain. Maybe they got brain damage and that's limiting their ability to read their own DNA or access these certain things or decrypt these certain things, but it doesn't change the fact that it's there, and when they procreate, that's what's going to get passed down. But it's also, I believe it's all being simultaneously recorded to the source as well, and that's, you know, something else that's, you know, beyond my personal knowing or most people's ability to explain how that works. But like, I do think that these physical chemicals in our bodies help us connect with actual things that are outside of our bodies and make major changes inside of ourselves as well. Anyways, back to the chat. How do you move your energies in your body? You can like, how can you control your nervous system in meditation? Okay, so yeah, I'll come to that next question in a second. Cancy, to answer this one about moving the energies in the body. Okay, so the first time that ever happened, I actually went, somebody did something for me, right? I went to a practitioner that was an advanced meditator, and my theory there on what happens is that if and it's important to be able to be connected to that person. You have to form a connection with that person to begin with, because your aura won't interact with people that you're not open to. But if you're able to open your aura to another person, for example, this is how I started off, and then they can, if they're a strong meditator, like they can excite your field, you know, and you know, there's like a certain degree of like autopilot that your body has on how to fix itself and do things. So if somebody excites your field enough, like it can go through and start unblocking chakras and things like that, right? Or at least this is my theory. Now that's how it started out for me. Now, from that experience, I just knew to recognize the energy to begin with. That was like the first big win for me, is knowing what that energy felt like. Now, the first time I realized that I can move it around, it came very easy for me. So I've talked about this experience, but I'll redo it. I was literally just working out. I think I was doing some shoulder exercises or whatever with like some little 10-pound weights. And I started getting this little like glowing feeling, like basically like, you know, low region kind of in that area. Like in America, we call it the gooch. I think the more scientific term is the perineum, but I started feeling like a feeling down there. And so I recognized that feeling from when I had done this energy work with this woman before. And I closed my eyes and I just kind of started trying to like get in contact with that feeling. I started feeling it, and I was able to visualize. And here's the thing, is that I didn't mean to visualize this. My mind did this on my own. Now, whether or not you could try to visualize this and it might work for you, maybe so. But I just closed my eyes and I was like feeling it, and like I could see like gold hands in like my mind's eye. It was just like gold hands on a black background, and it was really super vivid. And they were like, these hands were like holding a little ball of white light. I could literally see the hands and the light on like a background in my mind's eye, and I was like moving it around with my mind's eye, and I could feel it in my body. Like as I'm bringing it up with these hands, I literally would feel it like rising up into my stomach and like down my stomach, like to where it would bring this like sensation of pleasure, like with it wherever it was going. And I could feel it really acutely in each, like it would have like checkpoints in my system. Like I became able to really feel these chakras. And you know, I was playing around with it, and I was like, wow, you know, I wonder how high I can bring it. And so I bring it up, and it was like getting like stuck in my throat. It was like making me nauseous, and like making me like choke, and like it was literally like choking on this energy, like physically choking on it. And so I decided to lay down. I was hoping that would help. It came back down again, but I, you know, same thing, the gold hands in my mind's eye moving this little ball of light, and I could feel it. And every time I would bring it up try to bring it to my head, it would get stuck in my mouth. And so I was like really getting nauseous, like I thought I might throw up. And I just decided, you know, like, what the hell, I'm just gonna fucking push this through no matter what. And I could like feel a wall, like right here. Like it was like there was like a block, like right here on my cheekbone. And I just remember I was just pushing so hard, and I got it past that block. And when it went to the top of my head, it was like an orgasm, like in my brain, but with like all flashes of colors of every light you could imagine, and just like boom, and I was just like blown away, right? And after that, I was just like got so tired, and I just fell asleep and went to sleep for like 14 hours or something like that, or I don't know. But I actually did a post on Instagram if you want to check the exact date. I don't remember when it was, but there's a post on my Instagram where I said something about, I think I said something about some kind of dreams and overnight hair growth, and I'm like grinning all whatever in my bed. That was when I woke up from falling asleep after that experience. So that's how I got into it. But now it's like super easy I don't always see the hands and all that when I'm moving the energy. I can just go off feel alone. That was just like a one-time thing with the hands thing. But but I know the feeling really well, and I literally can just move it just by a thought. And it's interesting also because um, I see the color that coordinates with the chakra based upon where I feel it. So I can feel it, and when I'm doing it, and as I raise it up, like it'll literally like change the color behind my eyes as like I go to each different chakra. And it'll be like, usually it's like the whole vision, but sometimes uh, I guess it would be the third eye chakra. I see it as like a purple spot on black instead of the whole thing. And also sometimes I'll see the root chakra like that too when I'm pushing it down. And I also have some kind of tricks that I do with like sex, where like I can like push that down, and like when I bring it up to my stomach, it'll like expand orange behind my eyes like super crazy, and it'll like make me like get really turned on. So there's like pretty it's I mean, I don't know how I could not be interested in this. Like it's literally like feels like magic, but I know anyone can do it. It's just just takes a really strong like connection with your own body pretty much, which I think that I built up from being in the business for a long time, where I had to use my physical body and control my physical stuff. Do I have a dream after I meditate? Sometimes I do have dreams after I meditate, yeah. One second, let me scroll back up. Do I utilize oracle cards of any sort and pick one card from the deck and focus on the message for a whole day? I sometimes let other people pick them for me who do the oracle card stuff, and I've actually had a lot of interesting luck with the way that they come together and stuff. So I actually do believe that if you give the universe and these other dimensions like a way to communicate with you, like they will do it if you're a person that's um, having like an impact on society and stuff, because or has the potential to, um, because it's just an easier way for, I think it's much easier for things outside of this or above this dimension to affect this dimension on that level than it is for them to like directly communicate with us, because it to directly communicate you have to raise your vibration so high that it's like a, it's an all-consuming thing that is not casual to do. Do I reminisce a lot about life or try not to look back at things? I don't really. I try not to really look back at things. Sometimes I reminisce in a way because I do have amnesia to some extent from when I got hit by lightning. And so sometimes I will kind of do a weird meditation thing where I'll try to like access dormant memories and stuff and go like into my mind and like access things that I can't remember. But it's really just like a more, I don't know if it's a meditation, but it's a mental practice that I do, but it's not necessarily always successful. But I don't have like emotional attachments to the past or anything because um, at some point I definitely did, but ever since I've managed to make the spiritual progress, like I have no regrets because I'm 100% sure that like nothing else really matters that much. Like I don't think that anything is important in this world, like other than spirituality. Um, and so the fact that I'm having some success spiritually and without really having sought it out or anything like that, just kind of randomly. I don't know what caused my success, and for that reason, I don't know what experiences that I value or don't value. I value them all equally because they all have come together to create this current happening. So there's a lot of areas of my life that have suffered from this revelation, but I feel no suffering. a lot of people probably would not be happy with some of the things that have happened as a result, but that's only if they didn't have the actual success of the the spiritual success alongside of it. So it's hard for me to tell everyone like, hey, go ahead, fucking burn your life to the ground. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, as long as you can connect spiritually. Like, it's hard for me to say that to anyone because I'm not trying to like cause anyone a feeling of loss or anything like that. But like, I'm just telling you, like, as me personally, I feel no loss. Like, I feel ultimately rewarded and in gratitude like every day. And but that's a result of me not having the same priority checklist as everyone else based upon these experiences. So I don't know how useful that is to anybody, but that's just my personal situation. You really have incredible abilities. I hope you can do the same someday. Oh, you hope you can do that. I believe you can, is the thing. You just have to, the main thing is to know that you can. Like, just know it. 100%. And just keep an eye out for like things that like and also think back to the things that you dismissed, that you thought weren't possible, and that you came up with an excuse of, oh yeah, it must have been that. You know what I mean? Think about the propaganda you fed yourself to make it seem like something that was incredible happened was just normal. Like, what, think about all the things that you've seen in your life. You're like, that doesn't make sense. And you came up with a reason of why it could have been so. But now think of it from a new light of actually everything is possible, and maybe that was exactly what you've seen. And learn to trust your eyes, trust your ears, trust what you know in your heart, and things will just rapidly unfold. Like, this is all like, okay, yeah, there's little things, but a lot of the things that I mentioned, I brushed off in the past as, okay, whatever, came up with an excuse. But, it was only at the point when I realized, like, okay, there's no excuse for this. There's no, like, this is just only me not believing my own eyes. This is only me not believing my own heart. This is only me not believing my own experiences. And as soon as you let go of that and you start believing your experiences, believe what you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't even be interested in what I'm saying if you hadn't already seen something. You at least feel it. You feel it. You know it. You know that there's something not right. Why is a porn star fucking telling you this? Like, why? Why am I here? Why? What in what world of possibility does this make any sense that we're even having this conversation? That there's 10 people here talking to a porn star that just retired from a life of doing exactly what he loves to do and getting paid for it. And saying like, hey, yo, I found something that's actually better than sex, and it's accessible, like, while you're driving. You can be chilling anywhere. Like, it doesn't really matter where you're at or what you're doing. Like, like you can be like totally happy about everything in life with, like, doesn't require anything. It wouldn't even be like this whole thing that's happening right now, the 11 people that are here, and this conversation, the fact that I even would take my time to do this, not monetized on YouTube. Oh, I only have 3,000 followers here. Like, ignoring all my other networks that I have way more followers. Like, nothing would add up or make sense for us to even be here. If all of this wasn't 100% possible, not only for me, but for all of you as well. Like, you can do it. You just have to know that you can do it. You joined the wrong live a minute ago, Elizabeth. Well, I'm glad that you made it. How do I get into a good meditation routine? I'm still working on that. I don't know how to get into I'm trying to get a routine. I just, like I said, I just go with it when I feel it. You know what I'm saying? but they say, but look, they say nothing happens. Here's the main thing I can tell you about meditation that I have noticed. It can, if you feel something and you run with it, something can happen fast. But most of the time, it's not going to happen fast. You know, you need a half an hour or an hour to do something. You know, so, you know, of course, it's going to be best to do it every day or twice a day or 3 times a day. The more often you do it, the better it's going to be. But you know, you need like a good solid hour to like get into the zone. You know, so it takes a long time. It's a dedication thing. And once you're in the zone, if you really want to run with it, like I've done meditations that were 6 or 7 hours because it was working. And I'm just fucking, you know, rolling around in the fucking dirt or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's like amazing experience. So it's really just about being dedicated to it, and it's hard. It's not easy. Like I said, I don't even do it as much as I'd like to, and I'm having major success. So it's even harder if you're not necessarily having major success. But I mean, but think about how much faster you can probably get there if you're actually trying. And I got this far without trying. You know, so it's worth it, is what I'm saying. You know, just even if it's not working, keep doing it. Like one day you're going to have your moment when you're like, oh, you mean we can do all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? Like whatever drugs and other stuff that other, you know, a lot of people are like doing for fun. Like you can access all this and better ones with your own mind. You know, I don't know that that should be your motivation, but if you're into that kind of stuff, like let it be the motivation for why you get totally sober. Because what you want is your brain to be as absolutely sensitive to all this stuff as possible. You know, and yeah, there's plant medicines and stuff like that that can assist, but you can't do them all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like a special once in a while thing, you know, and you gotta like have intention when you're doing it, not just trying to blow off time, you know. Not to say that that's how I got there, but I know that there are other people that have used that as a shortcut. Got hit by lightning. When did that happen? It was in 2017. It was pretty it was not a great experience, I gotta tell you. I don't know if I would say I fully recovered. I don't think I ever got all my memories back. I feel really healthy now, but that was literally as a result of all the things I just talked about. Like I actually wasn't really amazingly healthy after that for a long time. And literally like I basically like healed overnight or instantly just from meditation. Like I literally like healed like instantaneously, like everything inside myself. So that's the other thing is like, you know, whatever medication, like this is my belief. I'm not trying to tell anyone to stop taking their medications, stop going to the doctor or whatever, but like there was nothing that ever fucking helped me even remotely. And then meditation and a spiritual experience like was able to fix everything that and even more that I didn't even know that was wrong basically in one instant. So I also think medically, it's my opinion, nothing, no medication, no surgery, like I don't personally believe anything is even like 1% as strong as what spiritual connection and your own body can do towards your healing and health. Like I'm positive that if I want to meditate all day without even lifting a finger or even moving, and that all I think about is getting buff, that I'll just sit here and grow muscle. You know, I'm not saying that I've tried that yet, but maybe in the future I'll do that as an experiment. You know, but I think that everything is possible through just the mind. spiritual awakening different. What made you get on this spiritual journey? It literally just like I had some experiences, and when I connected with that light, and it just, I learned more in 7 minutes than the rest of my life combined. I realized there was nothing else that I needed to be focused on or dedicated to. Like any amount of reading or knowledge that I could gain is just pale in comparison by doing anything than what I felt literally by accident just chanting. Just through the power of my own voice, I was able to connect to something. And maybe I'm taking too much credit. Maybe it connected to me and I had no part in this. That's possible. I don't really know. This is a big part of the question of me, and part of the reason why I'm constantly fasting, and I'm like trying to build up to this bigger fast to try to unlock this next level, because I want to know. And I think the only way to get the answer is like direct. I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell me the answer to that. Did meditation help you change your life around, give you a new perspective on stuff? Yeah, I mean, totally a new perspective. I don't know. Changing my life around is a relative term. Like mentally, I've never been so happy or in such a good mental state. Like my family enjoys being around me more. Like, everything has improved in many different ways, but people that are like really worried about financial success and not to say that I have worries about that. Like I'm pretty just comfortable that I'm gonna have what I need, without necessarily putting as much effort as other people think is super important to do, because they want their life to be surrounding around like accumulation, you know what I mean? And I'm not knocking anyone else's life or decisions or priorities or anything else. Like if having things make someone happy, like good for them. Like, well, that can be their purpose for life, but it's not my purpose for life. It's not something that's even important to me. So to say that I changed my life around, like, yes, I changed my life around, but I changed my life around from being like, a relatively like normal person that has been having success and doing the things that everyone else wants to have success in doing. And I've turned it around in the sense of I'm having success in doing everything that nobody else wants to do, or not nobody, but that very few other people want to do. And I'm doing that at the cost of everything else that most people think is important. So it's a very backwards type of progression for most people. And again, I'm not trying to suggest that anyone should do what I'm doing, but like, yeah, I'm like down to burn everything to the fucking ground, and just boil myself down to me and what I am, and have that experience. And I have absolute faith that the experience itself and the addition to my life story of having the experience is going to be worth more in every way, both spiritually and monetarily, than whatever I'm going to sacrifice for it, or am sacrificing, or already have sacrificed for it. So it's yes, meditation, spirituality, all these things, and combined with things like clean eating and mental detoxification. I don't listen to music. I don't watch television barely ever. Like, I fast regularly. I eat all organic food, like a lot of different things. But, these dedications and sacrifices, they've led me here, and I just have faith in it. You know what I'm saying? You feel it in your heart, and your heart is leading you. There you have it. Like, that's all it is. Like, that's what I'm doing too. Like, I don't think it's possible to really do anything wrong if you're not hurting anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the end, like it's really about, to me, it's about how you feel. You know, if people are very, very happy with like being obsessed with work or being workaholics and they're very driven and like that's, you know, they're not waking up stressed about all their responsibilities and, you know, everything, and like, you know, they find, you know, somehow major peace in like these material things, um, then that's fine for them. It's good for them. Um, you know, but you know, it's about how you feel. If they're like stressed out, if they're not happy, if they're just constantly wanting and desiring more, no matter how much that they have, I can't imagine that being as fulfilling of an existence as saying I have every fucking thing that I've ever wanted, everything that I've needed, and I love every moment that I'm experiencing. You know? Like, that's a totally different state of mind to be like, I have everything I need. And I love every moment. I don't want to change anything. I don't really, like, I thought of this time when I like manifested a blunt. This is actually an interesting thing, and maybe I'm going to piss some people off with this, but I'm going to go and say I had this revelation where I realized something about Jesus from my own experience, right? And I realized that Jesus was a major alcoholic. Now, don't get mad at me, guys, if you're into that kind of thing. But I realized that because Jesus turned water into wine. And then he like gave his Nazarite vow or whatever, went to the desert forever. And this, he not only did he vow not to drink wine, but he wouldn't even eat raisins. No grapes, no raisins. All right. And I'm like, and I thought about myself, and I thought about when I like manifested the blunt. I like made a blunt appear from thin air, and I really wanted that blunt at that moment. Like I wanted it so bad that it appeared in midair and materialized in front of two other people, and it was a perfect blunt. We smoked it, right? And then I went back and I thought about it. I was like, yes, that must have been exactly what Jesus was going through, because he wanted wine. He wanted some wine so bad that he turned water into wine at that moment. But he knew that that was a waste of his energy and all that. So at some point he realized that he never had to drink again, that he had to not only not drink, but to be so pure that he wouldn't even eat raisins, you know? Um, and I really felt that, you know, it's like and it's an interesting thought, you know, because like right now, there's many things that would improve my life, but I don't want any of them bad enough that I can make them materialize in front of my face the way I did that blunt that one day that I really wanted to smoke a blunt. And I don't know. I mean, as much as I would love to just materialize shit in front of me right now at any moment, right? It feels good to know I actually don't want anything bad enough to do that. You know? Like, I don't. I can think so hard, like, what do I really want? It's so awesome to think that this might be possible. And then it's like, fuck, I don't want anything. Like, I'm cool with that. You know? Anyways, back to the chat. Elizabeth felt in her soul, says, you're blessed to have experienced some spiritual awakening, because some people in this world don't trust their gut, aka their intuition, and disregard the signs that tap into their eternal life. I totally agree with that. Noise says, we pray 5 times a day. It's like your meditation, but every time after praying, we will sit for a while. It's a very calm moment and just feel very quiet and calm. Is that you feel after meditation? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. But sometimes I can be very excited as well and very energetic after a meditation. So it really just depends. Spectra says, I would have bought a lottery ticket if I got struck by lightning and survived. Well, let me tell you, you know, you would think that, but I'll tell you what, after you get hit by lightning, you feel so shitty that you don't really want to do anything. You really just want to like stop feeling like you've been flash fried or freezing cold, because it just like you like just have hot and cold sweats all day long. You like can't remember anything, and you're like stuttering and crap. Like it's like really not a good experience. So I don't recommend the lightning thing. You can't take money with us when we leave this dimension. No, we sure cannot. You still have all the information that was downloaded onto you. Can you read the Akashic Chronicles? Um, that's a good question, and I've been asking myself that same thing. So now I definitely like at the moment when I downloaded everything, I wouldn't say that it like almost feels like it's gonna break you. Like it literally feels like you feel like it like you almost feel like literally like you're filling up like you're watching a gauge. Like and it's like at first it's just like you're just hearing the angel music. I called it like it's like I'm just hearing harps and seeing gold lights and this gold lights are like shooting out of my mouth and my eyes and I'm just like there's sparkles. The dog's looking at me all crazy. I'm just like, this is so fucking beautiful. And then all of a sudden it's like, what? Like, boom, you just get hit with the info. And you're just like, like what's happening? Like, and like right at the moment when you feel like you're about to break, like you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely like this is it. I'm ascending, like we're leaving the body now. It's like boom, it like powers down, and it's just like I was like, whoa, like what was that? And then like all of a sudden, it's like, wow, like where's all this coming from? Like I have so much information, and it's like, yeah, you're just like you can access it, like it's there. But the thing is that you lose like your organization of being able to like access whatever you want at any time like it diminishes with your spiritual clarity. So like this is why part of the reason why I fast a lot because like when I'm fasted, I feel the connection and I can sort through the info. But like if I'm not eating clean or eating too much, too often, smoking, whatever, things like that, it takes you out of the state that you need to be in to read the records. But like, yeah, once it's downloaded, um you don't need to be connected like fully with the light and all that. I don't think to like access it now. Whether or not there might be more, I think there could be more. Like I think that maybe I just took in like as much as I could take in at that moment, without like breaking my brain. Um, but um, I think there's way more because I don't think that it was like oh like I just fucking downloaded everything that all of humanity ever did or what I'm saying like I think that it was just more than that's that was the amount that I could take in at that moment. So I would like if I could recreate any of these experiences, the one that I most want to recreate is this this connection via the back of the head, whatever the back of the head chakra is. Um, to see if I can get more or stay in this state for a longer period of time and maybe actually be able to like communicate with someone else while in the state or something like that. Like there's a lot there that I think can be I'm interested to see if can be expanded on. But like at the moment when you're connected, I don't think you can do anything. I think you're like 100% of like I'm lucky that I survived driving while this was happening. But yeah, I don't know. It was really weird too because it actually seemed like it even stabilized my vehicle and it was like exciting my vehicle at the time. Like my engine was like invigorated by it even like it was really really interesting. So um yes, I think that it is, and you can attempt, but I don't know if you can still necessarily access like all of it. I think you can access all of what you downloaded. I think that it might be possible to download more. I don't know, but it's just part of my own spiritual growth and mission to find out this information. So I don't actually know how to answer that question, to be honest, but it's there. It's there. Like, for example, for sure, I have answers to things that I didn't have prior to that, and I have access to them all the time. Not, or I should say, most of the time. Like, if I'm like, there was a day when I drank some coffee after getting totally off of coffee for a while, and I was like awake for like 2 days on coffee, and I forgot that I didn't sleep the night before, and I was like feeling so like spiritually crushed. So I was like, I feel no connection. Like, I was like, I felt it. Like, I didn't have access at that point. And and I felt it missing. Like, I'm like, why am I not, like, where's the connection? Like, why don't I have my thing? And then I was like thinking about it, I was like, oh, you haven't slept for 2 days. I was like, okay, boom. So I got some sleep, some good sleep, and I woke up in the morning and it was back and was connected again, and I was like doing good. So it's has to do with your state. Like, you can't just to download it to get connected. If you're not keeping your body pure and your thoughts pure, and you got distractions and everything else, or you're not meditating regularly, uh, your connection will fade, and you won't have the same thing. That much I do know. But it's not necessarily, it's not unretrievable either. Anyways, back to the chat. Um, do you utilize essential oils to aid spirituality? I've heard of that, but I've never tried it. But I could definitely see. But he turned water into wine. No, so I think he was. I think he drank. Because I'm telling you, you can only, like, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, maybe he was that much more powerful, but I feel that, like, it takes a high level. You gotta want something really, really bad on an emotional level to, like, make it appear from the ether. And also too, like, he can't claim to be perfect because he wouldn't have reincarnated. So, I haven't heard of the hadith, but I would like to. I would love anything that you think is relevant. Check out the nonprofit Wine to Water. My boy, I've known since elementary started. He was bartender and had a vision. Now he supplies clean water to third world countries with wine events. That's pretty cool. I like that. Is a harem the same thing as a sin? I think that that's the whole point of this. Was the point of the story, though, is I think that it for sure is bad to drink, and it definitely is a sin. Especially, I don't think alcohol is anything that I don't think it has any uh, benefits at all. Like, it doesn't really do anything positive. But um, so I don't consider it like in the same category as something like cannabis or mushrooms or ayahuasca. But I do believe that, um, you know, there's a value to the idea that um, even one of the greatest prophets of all time um, may have struggled with some type of earthly bonds that they mm, overcame on their path. Um, so on and so forth. So, not in any way was I trying to diminish Jesus's accomplishments or whatchamacallit, his virtues, but more so I'm trying to get across the point that I don't think that he was actually that much different than other people. And in fact, there actually were testimony, there was things removed from the Bible where he actually said exactly that he was no different than you and I. So it's interesting just to think about. Anyways, I don't know that it's necessarily the most relevant thing to our journey, because I personally didn't have my success or whatever through any kind of religion. Not to say that anyone else can't, and that I invite anyone to create their connection in whatever way is most successful for them. But I think that it's a good frame of reference from both. Let's exclude Jesus from this and just use myself, of that. As much as I think that there's lots of things that harm your connection, having done any one or multiple of those things does not necessarily make you irredeemable in that light. So we all just have to live in the moment, keep going forward, not worry too much about the past, and just vibrate as high as possible. And I believe that whatever we need, or what our body is ready for, will come to us at the time being. Now, I do want to state one thing, and that I don't think that people should jump to conclusions regarding their mental sanity and things like that when some pretty crazy things start to happen. And I think that there's probably a lot of people that possibly were waking up spiritually and didn't manage to make it through to the point that they stabilized, and basically interrupted their progress by taking, and again, this isn't medical advice, talk to your psychologist, doctor, whatever, about anything like this if you're interested in learning more about it. But I think that a lot of people start taking psych meds and stuff when they're having spiritual awakening, because I think that the body goes through a little bit of a struggle chemically when the nervous system wakes up and starts producing new chemicals and stuff. And I believe that it probably takes the body a little bit of conditioning to, first they got to produce the chemicals, and it's got to figure out how much to produce, then your receptors have to develop, how many receptors develop, etc., etc. I don't think that it's necessarily the thing that just happens like that, and especially with the way that our diets and our clothes and our Wi-Fi's and everything else is surrounding us, we're in a fucking negative environment that's not conducive to all that it probably makes it even harder for the body to get to that state. But I think that probably it is a common thing that people get diagnosed as having some kind of mental condition when they're actually just going through a spiritual awakening, and that their body hasn't stabilized, and that their mind hasn't had time to process the reality of what's going on, or that they are having major discord between what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, and what they're absorbing as actual reality versus what their social conditioning has programmed them to believe is reality. And that disconnect between those two things makes someone feel crazy to the point that they aren't able to get to a stable condition afterwards, and maybe even they start taking medications or something that's definitely not going to be conducive to that connection. Anyways, Okay, thank you for the clarification, Noi, on the harem. Would you like to talk to someone who has had this experience of Christ oil raising also, or would you rather explore it yourself? I'm asking because I think you found someone who has had that connection too. I would like to talk to somebody if they were willing to. I do seek, I hope that a guru will someday present itself. I would love to talk to somebody that, anybody really that has the experience. I mainly am interested in learning like the physical cycles of it and what practices, like when to practice semen retention, when to eat what foods help produce these chemicals, what foods block the chemicals from being produced, you know, what time is going to happen, how much time needs to be between when it drops and when it rises, and how much time needs to be between, you know, how much semen retention, like is there, you know, I'd like to learn methods for transmitting this. You know, is there ways, because like I feel that sex was somewhat involved in this for me also. Like I had, you know, a lot of major breakthroughs like while I was shooting that new website, and at the time I was like having some really good sexual experiences also. So I'm confused by this whole need for semen retention and all that, you know, in the light of knowing what I was doing at the time when all this stuff happened. So I definitely would like, as much as I don't necessarily want someone to try to teach me about the universe or what the universe knows, because I don't think there's a teacher for that besides the universe. But as far as how to take care of the body, the physical body, in order to get the most out of this, I think that it's something that I would like to learn from. And this is one of the reasons why I want to go to India, because I believe that they have kept it depoliticized to some extent, to where it's literally, they've been studying the science of the body for a long time, and not really too many people are, you know, gaining overly, like an over amount of power or control over people by using this knowledge. They're literally just teaching it to a few select people at a time that are prepared physically to receive it. And so I don't feel that there's as much like political bias or you know, power to be gained by anyone by people that are practicing in that manner, versus in some religions. I think that there is a certain degree of you know, all that. And I'm just trying to have my own experiences regarding it. I'm not trying to necessarily imitate other people's experiences, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not, you know, information that can help the process, or that I can experiment with myself to decide if it's true or false, or that I could ask my intuition, or refer. I don't know how long that just froze for, but damn. Looks like my battery's about to die, you guys. Do I think semen retention is a farce, or giving its crazy benefits? I think there's something to it, because like I feel like major effects in my body when I practice it, but I definitely want to. I mean, I think it's in, you know, what I've learned about this CHRIStOS oil or the Samrita or whatever. What the little bit that I think that I understand about it, like the concept of losing that because of ejaculation, is not something I'm okay with. Like, if I am going to be at risk of losing these experiences, like, I'm 100% okay with practicing semen retention. That being said, the major experiences that I had was, I don't think that I had had sex directly at the time, but I had definitely been having a lot of sex around that time, and very good sex, with a lot of different partners, because I just shot 20 scenes for a new website. So and being that sex is really the only thing that I can claim to be a master of, everything else that we're talking about is just, I'm a newbie learning as we go and experimenting with things. But the fact that it indicates, like, there is some indication that the thing which I am a master of may have somehow affected it for better or worse, is something that I feel obligated to use as a center point to begin my studies and to experiment with and bring some of this information and understanding to light, and so that I can share it with the people who are here with me trying to uncover these mysteries alongside me. Don't speak about the universe, please, because it's a bunch of BS with people blaming their own crazy Mercury being retrograde and all this stupid number frequencies. I don't know what specific thing you're referring to, Elizabeth, but definitely I guess I kind of get what you're saying, but there's definitely something to the universe as well. I don't know that it should be blamed for anything. I think that it is definitely something that can provide, if you know how to listen. May I send you some links again? I would love it if you sent me some links, Melanie. You have had amazing information so far. You are very skilled in this research department, and I'm really, really grateful for your input and having you in these chats. As far as I understood, if you are safe about the 2 weeks before the moon is in your sign, aligned for 3 days. Send you a link to the moon calendar. Perfect. Let's check that out. So I guess we'll see, because I know all the dates. So we'll see what's going on. I thought it was also interesting though, like, oh, you guys, my battery's about to die and I gotta pee. You know what? Let's say I'm gonna check out that moon calendar, and that'll be the topic for our next stream. All right, you guys. Much love, everybody. I will talk to you soon. I hope I'll see you all on Telegram, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not. All right.